All right, chapter 7 of The Power of Now. It's called Portals into the Unmanifested. I know when I read that title for the first time a few years ago, I thought, what in the world does that mean? Maybe if you've read a lot of spiritual books, these words don't concern you. Or maybe these kinds of phrases you think, what am I getting myself into? How spooky are we getting here? But of course, as we read this chapter, we realize it's not nearly as spooky as it sounds. The unmanifested is a pretty hard topic to talk about because we want to add concepts and understand the unmanifested. And it's this nothingness that as soon as we start talking about or adding concepts to, we're missing it. You know, it's before concepts. It's the absence of concepts. He says, having access to this formless realm is truly liberating. So this realm of no form, this is the unmanifested. He says, it frees you from the bondage to form and identification with form. It is life in its undifferentiated state prior to its fragmentation into multiplicity. We may call it the unmanifested. The invisible source of all things, the being within all beings. It is a deep realm of stillness and peace, but also of joy and intense aliveness. So he's giving us little glimpses of this unmanifested as he talks about. So he says, let your spiritual practice be this. As you go about your life, don't give 100% of your attention to the external world and the mind. Keep some within. Feel the inner body even when engaged in everyday activities, especially when engaged in relationships or when you're relating with nature. Feel the stillness deep inside it. Keep the portal open. It's quite possible to be conscious of the unmanifested throughout your life. You feel it as a deep sense of peace somewhere in the background, a stillness that never leaves you no matter what happens out here. So the main portal to the unmanifested is the present moment, is the now, is being intensely present. And of course, all of our thinking can distract us and be an obstacle for that. So a cessation of the thinking, a gap in all of the autopilot, getting lost in our thoughts, and being present, this is a portal into the unmanifested. So I love this practical tip, he says. You can start with one simple thing, taking one conscious breath. And this is something that I do regularly. Anytime I realize I'm lost in thought or I'm on autopilot or I'm in la-la land, I say, okay, I'm going to take one conscious breath. I breathe in, I feel the aliveness of my body. I breathe out. And whenever you feel your breath, you know you're in the present moment. Your breath always takes place in the present moment. Your heartbeat always takes place in the present moment. Those are great anchors to come back to reality, get out of all the stream of thought, and be here now. He says, looking in a state of intense alertness at a flower so that there is no mental commentary running at the same time. This is another way, which we've talked about this already. I love this idea of just being there in nature. If you're intensely present, the thoughts stop. There's a cessation of thought there where you can be totally present in the now. He says there's many ways to create a gap in the incessant stream of thought. This is what meditation is all about. Thought is a part of the realm of the manifested. Continuous mind activity keeps you imprisoned in the world of form and becomes an opaque screen that prevents you from becoming conscious of the unmanifested or conscious of the formless and timeless God essence in yourself and in all things and all creatures. So when you are intensely present here in the now, you don't need to be concerned about the cessation of thinking, of course, because the mind then stops automatically. That is why I say the now is an essential aspect of every other portal. There's two other big ideas I want to talk about in this chapter, silence and space. And both of these are portals into the unmanifested. They're going to help us get back into our bodies, get out of autopilot, be more centered, be here in the now. So let's jump into the first one. Silence can be a great portal to the unmanifested. And if you're anything like me, you've spent a lot of time avoiding the silence and hiding from it. I know growing up as a kid, I always had noise in the background. I had music blasting, I had a TV show on, I had a movie on, or even in conversation, if there was ever a gap in the conversation, I would quickly fill it with talking, anything to avoid the silence. Years later, I still listen to plenty of music, but I don't run and hide from silence. Silence has become a friend. Eckhart is really encouraging us here to use silence as a way to become more present and get back into our bodies, get back into the now. And when he talks about silence being a portal to the unmanifested, he says this: the unmanifested is not separate from the manifested. It pervades this world, but is so well disguised that almost everybody misses it completely. If you know where to look, you'll find it everywhere. A portal opens up every moment. So then he's talking about all these sounds that fill our lives, and the car honking and the dog barking. And he says, can you feel the unmanifested in that? And it's like, no. So he says, look for it in the silence out of which the sounds come and into which they return. Pay more attention to the silence than the sounds. Paying attention to outer silence creates inner silence. The mind becomes still. A portal is opening up. So this is the key thing here. When we start to pay more attention to these little moments of silence, our inner self gets a little more silent, gets a little more still. The mind activity slows down and we become a little more present. He says, every sound is born out of silence, dies back into silence, and during its lifespan is surrounded by silence. Silence enables the sound to be. It is an intrinsic but unmanifested part of every sound, every musical note, every song, every word. The unmanifested is present in this world as silence. This is why it has been said that nothing in this world is so like God as silence. All you have to do is pay attention to it. And so this is another practical tip that he gives. Even during a conversation, become conscious of the gaps between words, the brief silent intervals between sentences. As you do that, the dimension of stillness grows within you. Because here's the key, you cannot pay attention to silence without simultaneously becoming still within. Silence without, stillness within. You have entered the unmanifested. This is a great way for us to get back in our bodies with silence. I would really encourage you to try this. Try listening to the little gaps of silence that are everywhere, and you'll notice you will start to feel more stillness inside, and you're becoming more present. Oh, I love this. So let's talk about space as our last portal into the unmanifested. Space, another portal to the unmanifested. So I'm going to read a little bit and then we'll talk about it. He says, just as no sound can exist without silence, nothing can exist without no thing, without the empty space that enables it to be. Every physical object or body has come out of nothing, is surrounded by nothing, and will eventually return to nothing. Not only that, but even inside every physical body, there is far more nothing than something. Physicists tell us that the solidity of matter is an illusion. Even seemingly solid matter, including your physical body, is nearly 100% empty space. So vast are the distances between the atoms compared to their size. What is more, even inside every atom, there is mostly empty space. What is left is more like a vibrational frequency than particles of solid matter, more like a musical note. And so the encouragement here is to start to look around and realize space and emptiness is a very big part of our experience. It's so close, though, we almost miss it. We pay so much attention to the objects, the things, that we miss all the emptiness around those things. He says, the unmanifested is not only present in this world as silence, but also pervades the entire physical universe as space, from within and without. This is just as easy to miss as silence. Everyone pays attention to the things in space, but who pays attention to space itself? What is this emptiness or nothing that has this special quality? Like, what is nothing? That's the question. And I love Eckhart's kind of funny, silly answer to the question, what is nothing? He says, you cannot ask such a question. Your mind is trying to make nothing into something. The moment you make it into something, you've missed it. Nothing, space, is the appearance of the unmanifested as an externalized phenomenon in a sense-perceived world. That is about as much as one can say about it. And even that's kind of a paradox. It cannot become an object of knowledge. You cannot do a PhD on nothing. I love this. This is what our minds do. It's like, well, what is it? What is nothing? It's like, no, it isn't anything. It's the absence of being something. It's just not. It's a little bit tricky to talk about. He says, space has no existence. To exist literally means to stand out. You cannot understand space because it doesn't stand out. Although in itself it has no existence, it enables everything else to exist. Silence has no existence either, nor does the unmanifested. So what happens if you withdraw attention from the objects in space and become more aware of space itself? What is the essence of this room? The furniture, the pictures, and so on are in the room, but they're not the room. The floors, walls, ceilings, they define the boundaries of the room, but they're not the room either. So what is the essence of the room? Space, of course. Empty space. There would be no room without it. Since space is nothing, we can say that what is not there is more important than what is there. So become aware of the space that is all around you. Don't think about it. Feel it as it were. Pay attention to nothing. As you start to do this externally with things around you, the objects in the room, and even with silence, like in the previous section, the same thing starts to happen inside of you, in your mind. All of your objects of consciousness, like your thoughts and your emotions and things like that, you start to pay more attention to the gaps between them, the pure consciousness, not getting totally lost in the content of what's happening, but being closer connected to the stillness within. And this is the key thing here. He says, you cannot think and be aware of space or silence. By becoming aware of the empty space around you, you simultaneously become aware of the space of no mind, of pure consciousness, the unmanifested. This is how the contemplation of space can become a portal for you. So this is another portal into the unmanifested. This is another way that we can get out of the constant stream of thinking, get back into our bodies, get back into the present moment, get back into the now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love making these videos, and instead of asking you to like and subscribe this channel, I'm going to ask you to turn off your screens, go outside, and try practicing some of these things. Try becoming more aware of the little moments of silence in between all the sounds, or pay more attention to the space that surrounds all of the objects in our lives, and see what happens for you. Thanks so much. We'll see you in the next video.